Strategies in landscape architecture is to put the building up and not put the walkways in and let the people walk to the building for a month and you'll see where they're going to walk. And then put the frickin' sidewalk where they're going to walk. All right? The big diagonal sidewalk across the middle of the quad with the rock sitting in the middle. That started out as a preference line. They didn't pave that at first. The students walked there. And then we realized the students are damn well going to walk there. Put the sidewalk where the students are going to walk. Well, what this reveals is soil erosion. So I want to talk for a moment about soil erosion. Somebody already mentioned it at the first stop. This is anthropogenic soil erosion. Big 13-letter word there. It means begun by people. Anthro, Genesis, the beginning. Begun by people. Anthropogenic soil erosion. Who should worry about anthropogenic soil erosion? Well, not everybody has to worry about it. The only people that should worry about anthropogenic soil erosion are the people who eat food. All right? The people who don't eat food, they don't need to worry about soil erosion. I describe anthropogenic soil erosion as a double-edged sword. It cuts you twice. What do I mean by that? All of the food you guys eat today, excepting seafood, shrimp and fish, but all of your cereals, your grains, your fruits, vegetables, beef, dairy, cattle, pork, nuts and legumes, all of that food is growing on soil. On the grasses off of the soil, the vegetables and the trees off of the soil. All of that food is grown on soil. So when we wash away, we're losing our life-sustaining resource. That's the first time we get cut. You get cut the first time when you lose the life-sustaining resource. And when the soil washes off of here, where is it going? And point in that direction, Brittany. Yes, it's going to the water. It is going to the stream that flows under the ark. And that flows into East Lake. Now, East Lake, you know, by the time this lab is over with, we'll try to get there. If we miss it today, we'll get it another day. But East Lake is down there where there's a fountain down by Keister Road. Let me give you guys just a little friendly advice. If you have buddies in your life and they throw you in East Lake, you need some new freaking friends, okay? They're not really friends. Can you catch trout in East Lake today? No. What do you know about trout, Kat? They live in streams and they like clean water. They need cold, well-oxygenated, clear water. You cannot catch trout in East Lake today. What can you catch in there? Catfish, some bass, bluegills. There are fish that like that farm pond environment. But the vast majority of the species that are in there can't live there because it's now a tub of goo. It catches all of that soil. And this is the second time we get cut. Anthropogenic soil erosion is a double-edged sword. Cuts us twice. The first time we're cut is when we lose the life-sustaining resource. The second time is when the sediment contaminates our surface waters. It contaminates our rivers and our lakes, and it contaminates the Gulf of Mexico. That sediment washed into surface water is now pollution. On the land, it sustained life. In the water, it kills life. There was a real gully washer that happened this semester on a Tuesday, I think it was, maybe about 4 or 5 weeks back. There was a real heavy-duty rainstorm on the day of this lab. And everywhere I drove, the water was running off of our neighborhoods, off of our farms, off of our construction sites, and it was all Colorado. Colorado is the Spanish term for reddish brown. All right? Saxon's hair is almost Colorado. Christy's hair, I could see a little Colorado in her hair. She's got that reddish brown. In water, that is not a good thing. It tells you that water is filled with soil that has been eroded off. I can barely describe, since I'm a person who's very much invested with biodiversity on planet Earth and watches very closely what people are doing to this beautiful place, how heartbroken I was that day this semester when we had a serious rainstorm, and everywhere I look, I'm seeing just unbelievable, freaking excruciating soil erosion. Knowing that with every passing year we have more mouths to feed on this planet and less fertile soil to do it with. Alright? It's freaking insane. And on that day when I'm looking at it, I'm thinking, oh my God, the planet is bleeding with soil erosion. Alright? So it's not something that you should contemplate in your own yard, on your own property, someday when you have it. Please, plant grass in the muddy spots. Regrade the hillside after construction. Put shrubs in the gullies. And do what you can to hold that soil in place. Your grandkids need that soil. And the Gulf of Mexico is going to continue in its spiral of death as long as we continue to fill it with so much mud that the visually feeding organisms can't see their bait. Trout are visually feeding organisms. If you guys go fishing for trout, you learn you have to be really freaking crafty. Particularly natural native trout. You got to make your bait look just like the insect that is hatching out, or the trout won't take it. You can't fool them easily. Catfish, big stinky mud-sucking bottom critters, you got to throw some rotten chicken on your hook. The stinkier it is, the easier it is for them to find it, because they live in turbid water. So different kinds of organisms have different kinds of needs. So we got a lot going on here between, once again, just the nature of the hillside in motion, mass wasting coming down. I can tell you that on the final exam, one of the essay questions is going to be about soil erosion on this campus. I'm going to ask you, where's it occurring? What's causing it? What are we doing about it? So I want you guys, not only on today's lab, but over the course of the next month and a half, to pay attention to the campus and watch where the soil is eroding and the evidence for it and what we're doing about it. That's part of the preparation for you guys to succeed on your final exam. All right, that's stop number 2.